Good evening, everybody. While we're loading up, we open this over here so I can see all the names come on. And Carla, Elizabeth, hello, good evening, everybody. So we're going to be talking portfolios. Now, while people are joining in, the normal stuff will apply. Who we got here? Turgai, good evening. Maria, hello. So, as always, just the housekeeping rules that we always do ahead of time is the chat function I keep open all the time, and we can bounce things. Hey, Tracy, how's it going? And we can bounce there and we can interact on that side. And then the Q&A, I will check back to every once in a while. And then obviously right at the end, I'm going to pop in there and try and answer as many questions for you as I can. So let me just move that over there. Okay, give it a couple of seconds, just seeing some of the names popping up there. Tim, Tom, hey, good evening. Tracy, Ego, Turgai, all good. Okay, so the idea with this particular, I almost said episode because I'm recording podcast tomorrow, you see. So with this particular webinar, Linda, hello from Bahamas, is to give you some ideas of how to put together a top 10 or a top 12 or a top 24, but a portfolio of your work. So initially, we're going to do a little bit of interaction here on the chat just before I take you into Lightroom. How many of you right now have either, and give me the differentiator inside of the chat, either have a digital portfolio on a website or an actual printed book portfolio? How many of you actually have that? Okay. No, website. Okay, only website, digital. I like it. Working on a digital website now. Website, that's cool. Website. Okay. Now, the thing is, there are too many people, neither. Okay, Richard, we're going to fix that. There are too many people that when you ask them that question, they come with, yeah, no, of course I have. Look, here's my Instagram. No. Your Instagram feed, unless you are super, super, super disciplined, is not a coherent portfolio or a body of work. For the majority of us, and I don't know if some of you out there would be different, but for the majority of us, it literally is a random collection of images posted at the time where you think you're going to get the most likes. That's just how it is. So there's one or two people who I have found in the past that have pretty solid portfolio looking Instagram feeds, but it's not the thing. It's not a thing. Now, the idea and how I like to approach this is you want to have at any given point in time, and I've mentioned this in the past, where I think, is Charlotte here tonight? No, Charlotte didn't join this one. So Charlotte asked last time, kind of, if she goes on a trip, right, to Madikwe, for example, and she then says, hey, Gerry, come for coffee at home, and I will show you my images from Madikwe. That's cool, and we like doing that. However, please, Lord, don't show me 2,500 raw images of 3 days. Right. What I would expect at that stage is a collection, we're going to use that, a collection of images that have been processed and chosen because they tell the story of the place. They tell the story of your safari as such. Now, Linda's going to come back to South Africa at some stage, and I'm going to meet Linda for a glass of red wine because it's amazing. And I'm then going to say to Linda, okay, cool, listen, show me the collection of your last 3 safaris. So for example, Masai Mara, Great Bear Rainforest, and I don't know, Mala Mala. So each of those 3 will be standalone galleries or collections, right? Now I'm going to link this to a website in real time because it's an important thing. So we can then look through the images of a given trip. Now, depending on how good that trip was, you might have 47 keepers in your collection of that trip, or you might have 427 if you went to Svalbard and the shit hit the fan, because then you have incredible amounts of images that you keep. The one thing that I find missing is there are not many photographers right now. Yes, you have a website. That's cool. But if you go into a coffee shop and you go and sit with a stranger and you say, listen, John, Sarah, whatever your name might be, this is my work. This is what I do. Do you have a collection of images, a portfolio of small, tight, real tight portfolio that tells people this is what I shoot and this is what I photograph. You could pull style into it. We could pull all those kind of things. And when I get to the practical side here, I'll show it to you more. How many of you right now can not go and put it together right now have a collection of your top 12 ever images? Go in the chat function, please. Do you have a collection of your top 12 ever? This is important. Top 50. Okay, we'll talk about that. No, there's a yes, no. Again, yeah, Turguy, I like it. Tim, yes, okay. So the thing is this. We evolve, right? Your photography, top 100 per year. Okay, we're going to talk about that. So the idea, and there's a lot of photographers who spend their time. Look, I'm a wildlife photographer, but I don't focus on my own work. My job is to make you a better photographer when you travel with me. So I am not as on top of my own stuff, just been a little bit of a rough one. But the idea is this. You should, depending on how many trips you do, like for me, it's very difficult to choose. Absolutely. Linda says it's difficult. It's very difficult to choose. It's like choosing between your two children. Which one is prettier? Possible? I don't know. But the idea is that you have a small, tight collection. And the numbers that work for me is between 12 and 24. Okay, so if you, as an evolving portfolio at any given time, I message you, I send you a WhatsApp saying, who have we got here? Turguy, hey, listen, please send me your portfolio. I want to show it to someone. It's going to be diverse, but it's going to be you. And the idea is here that we make it nice and tight. If you start going to the place where you have, and 12 and 24 works for me because it's kind of 1 a month or 2 a month over a year, depending how much you travel. The moment you start going more than this, right? That's a great thing. We're going to talk about that. Then the moment you start going more than that, so if you say to me, I want 200 images a year, okay. Unless you are really, really focused and you have to choose a portfolio of 200 images a year, it's still super wide. It's super, super wide, right? So what I would challenge you for, and this is the thing, people think when they do a portfolio like a 10, 12, okay, let's work on 12 and 24. The example I'm going to show you is 12. If you work on 12 images, that, if you land on your website, there it is, boom. That might be the background images that flash through. This might be my portfolio, my best of, my top 12, whatever you call it. Then you go deeper. And then you have galleries per trip or per animal or per theme, whatever the case might be. How many of you, the interesting one, how many of you are currently making money off your photography? Selling prints, selling books, whatever the case is. How many of you are currently making money off your photography? An interesting thing. Selling prints, yeah. Tracy's got some, yeah. A little bit, that's cool. That's cool. You see, there was a little while ago, just when things like Smug Mug and that came into a bigger, always losing money. I hear you. It's not your, they don't give it away for free. Huh? So when Smug Mug and those came out, all the wildlife photographers, oh my God, I want to make money. And off they go. And they just want to have, this is my portfolio, buy my images. It doesn't work that way. I think that if you, okay, another question for you. I like the interaction. There's a lot of stuff happening there. How many safaris or / wildlife trips do you guys do per year? Just give me a rough number. 1, 2, 5, 17. How many wildlife dedicated photographic trips? 2, 5, 2 to 3, 1, 3. Okay. Top 12. Start to top 12. That's, I like that. 15 to 20 a year, 5 to 8. Okay, cool. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Sadly, only about 3. We can remedy that. So what Anne says here is start to a top 12 per year might be making a calendar. Now that is golden because now you're starting to get somewhere. You put more thought into it. If you have 150, hey, look, here's my portfolio of 150 images. It's like, damn, man, you're going to bore me after the first 47. Okay, because it's not tight. It needs to be powerful. It needs to be in your face. So what I'm going to share with you now quickly before we go to Lightroom is this document. Now, here we go. So this is a document that I used to run a Thule nature photography workshop in the past. And this document I put together kind of how to create a portfolio that flows, right? Keep it short and sweet. It's your portfolio. Don't put it to popular vote. Show your quality. Show a range of images Start with a bang, end with the best, put the rest in the middle, wrap it up. Okay, now I am going to share this with you guys. I'm going to share that either in an email tomorrow or later on if we get time. We might go deeper into that. But the idea is this again, that I need you to have, and it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference if you have something to shoot for. So I am going to show you some examples of my 2017, 18, 19. What I do, and I'm not saying this is the right way, this is just a way, maybe give you an example, right? Is what I would do is after every single safari that I do, and depending, I'm in 20, 40, 50 a year, I don't know. It just depends how much travel I get. After every single trip, I go through all my raw files, I select them. I've got a kind of a workshop, a 4-part workshop coming up in November, where I'm going to go very deep into stuff. But I select them down, right, to, let's say I've got 3,000 raw files on a trip. That comes down to, for example, 110 images. I process all of them, boom. That becomes a gallery for that trip. It's not a portfolio. It's a gallery or a collection of that trip. I do that for every single trip. Right. Then on the side, you have your revolving and evolving portfolio of 12 images. Okay. The idea is then that after every trip, so you've got your 12 images here, your portfolio, and here you've got the big collection with 110 from the Masai Mara trip. I now, once I've processed these, I go and look through all of them, and let's say there's 7 that I think, shit, this is good. I take those 7 and I add them into my top 12 collection. This now becomes 19. So I'm done with this. 110, they get iced, website, they're good. Now I've got 19 in my evolving portfolio. I now have to take a break, come back. Now I've got 19. And now I'm judging these on merit again. And I delete them until I get to 12. If some of the images from the Mara collection bumped some of the older ones out, so be it. If they didn't, also fine. It's evolving all the time. And I'll show you the example. I find that a super, super easy way that at the end of every single safari, do your thing, get the thing processed and so on and so forth, and then take some, put them in, break it down, and bring it back in again. Okay, any questions up until this point? Okay, what is Linda about here? If you're into monochrome, would you have a separate portfolio for that? Or if you're into high key? Great question. So what would happen is, there's no right or wrong, actually. It's yes or no. So if you are exclusively wanting to create a brand for yourself as someone who shoots monochrome, because that's your style, you like it, you want to sell it, you print that, then yes, your portfolio would be just monochrome. But if you do a little bit of color as well, right? If you do a little bit of color as well, have a little bit of everything in there. The idea with the portfolio is, if you're planning to monetize your work, or if you're trying to build a brand around your own photography, it's a snapshot. It's a digital business card of this is what I do. So Linda, if you're into monochrome, yeah, then do just monochrome. But I think you're shooting yourself in the foot, because I know you have some great color images, so you might have both. So just add another layer in. At the top level, you would have, I'm going to get to the 12 question too. At the top, you've got your portfolio, 12 or 24, right? Underneath that, normally I've got my collections of galleries of per trip, right? Per trip. Why not then add something in the middle? You could have my best 12 monochrome, my best 12 color, but if you have to show me one portfolio, you have a best of everything. I need a best of Linda, because that's what I want to see. That's what I want you to get to. Right? Same with high key. You can, and this is the good thing. This is the great thing. You can, for every single trip, have your collection, and I'm going to show you how I've done it more or less, of images from each trip. Out of those, you might put some in high key, you might put some in landscapes, you might put some in monochrome, you might put some in portraits. Okay? So you've got Masai Mara, which is everything. You break those 4 down. There's 12 of each of those, and out of that, you feed up. So it's a best of. It's the movie trailer. It's the 2-minute version of a 3-hour movie that you show someone. And if they're keen, then they can go deeper with you. Okay. So we're going to look a little bit at that. So, Turgai, is 12 a magic number? Is it a question of attention span? It is. It is. Look at today's attention of how we as humans operate. I said this in the past as well. So my phone, right? I'm going to do this in real time. Where's my Instagram? Okay, so loading. So I open Instagram. Yeah, I literally go at that. No, just we just do this. I literally, when I'm scrolling, I just go there. Okay, there. Ooh, like, carry on. That's how much attention. You literally have half a second to catch someone's attention. So half a second, not much time. So what you want to do is make it short and punchy. If someone's going to come onto your website and you say, this is my best of, but you've got 150 images, is that a best of, or is it like just a collection of better images? We have to be hardcore and break it down. This is you. This is your work. Boom. So let me quickly check the Q&A here. G, 2 diverse efforts, 1 shooting field events for hunting dogs, 2 wildlife. Should I keep these separate? 2 diverse efforts, 1 shooting field events for hunting dogs, and 2 for wildlife. Should I keep these separate? I probably would, because the one is almost event commercial based. The other one is wildlife based. In my mind, those don't really match together. It feels like they should be separate. You could, however, again, I would have top 12 of the events, top 12 of wildlife, and then still have a best of everything. Like, I met a photographer recently. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, local guy called, I should know, Tim Millman. Phenomenal wedding photographer, kind of documentary style. And he also does extreme sports, BMX and such. So he has 2 portfolios, very diverse, 2 websites, right? That if he speaks to someone about weddings, this is my work, right? But if someone wants him to photograph BMX or skateboarding, he shows them this because that speaks to that. Then he recently did a, what's it called? An event, a gallery show, right? And they had a little bit of everything. So it works well. Okay, so guys, keep the Q&As coming if you have any. I'll pop back in there a little bit later on. The chat function will stay open. We're going into Lightroom. And I'm going to show you this is not the final. I'm just wanting to show you how this works. So here we go. So what I've pulled together here, where's my chat? Sorry, can you guys just confirm you are seeing Lightroom on your screen, please? Just sometimes I fight with Zoom. All right. Oops. Okay, so what you see on screen here is 12 images. I just took these randomly. For argument's sake, for the purposes of this discussion, let's assume this is my top 12. Okay, it's diverse. There's Mara, Great Big Rainforest, Svalbard, gorillas, and so on and so forth. So these would show me, and this is not my portfolio, I just threw it together quickly to show you how this would work. I would now say, okay, cool, there is my top 12. Okay, I'm going to pay a little bit TLC to it. So for the purposes of now, I'm just going to say, okay, let's give that all blue labels, right? Because we are going to add stuff in here in a bit. So the interesting is this. Okay, let me just come back to you for a second. When you present your portfolio, and this is the PDF document, if you guys want it, that I'll send to you as well, is you don't just want to start and say, here's my best shot, and then here's the other ones that are almost kind of okay as well. No, because then you're leading with the best, then you disappoint me all the way down. You know what I mean? So there is, and you'll see in the document, if I send it to you, that you start with your second best image that you think is your second best image, right? So you start with a high, but not the hero shot. Then you come down a little bit, you build the attention up. So you have to kind of be aware of how your images, the energy that they convey. So you start with your second best image, if you're doing a slideshow or something, and then you kind of come down, you come up. Your second last image, the second last one, is your hero shot. That's like, this is the shit. This is my great image. And then you end up with more of a peaceful kind of just exhale after you've showed the good stuff. Does that make sense? I mean, you're following, because as you present, you have to have a flow to your top 10, 12 for 24, right? So something like that to just kind of lead me through it. Because again, if you start with your hero image, I'm disappointed all the way down. Okay, so let's go back to Lightroom. I will send that document to you guys. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, so the cool thing, so what I've done, and this is what you could do. Inside your collections in Lightroom, let me just open the chat so I can keep in touch with you guys. There we go. So what you do here then is I've opened Gerry's portfolio, 12. I'm going to work on 12 for me, 12 or 24 works. You can decide for yourself. If you're happy with 50, that's a big ass number to kind of keep track of. Tight, small, in your face, powerful. So I've done 12 here. The cool thing is, in collections, right, you can change the order. So you can here in collections, you can move this around in whichever order you would like to show this to your viewership, your audience. Okay, so just as a quick little exercise, just because we can. So for me, out of this, my polar bear shot I like, so I'm gonna put that second last. I might end off with something like a sunset over here. What would be the second? I like the gorilla, so let me start on the gorilla shot because it's quite there. So something like that, right? But my hero shot second last, and I start with my second best image. This is for you. This is completely your thing to choose. But after I got into this stage, and I'm super proud that I've got these 12 images, you ask me, show me some of your work, I show you this. So now, who asked about the, someone asked about the event. So if you have, you could go 6 event and 6 wildlife. That's cool. You could mix them up, but try and still have that tight grouping. All right, so now this, if you have a SmugMug account, this will automatically load to your website if you set it up. Then this now is on ice. Back of my mind, there it is. So let's say, for example, now I go to Borneo. So here is my Borneo collection. So this is, right, what you see here are this is every single image that I shot in Borneo that I processed. So if you go to my website on my SmugMug, you will see every single one of these images, right? I am not petty personally about loading more than one image per sighting. So for example, the square-headed lizard, right? So I've got quite a few of this guy because I liked it. Okay, that's not him. So I've got quite a few of him that they're all on my website because it was awesome. Why not use it? Okay, there it's processed now. So all of them go on. Now, I might, and I did, so I've got 170 processed images from this trip. I probably shot in excess of 5,000 raw files because of things like, where are those things? Like with gibbons, some of the most difficult animals I've shot. You rattle off frames here like nothing, right? So I have now finished my processing for this, and now I go through this and I make sure my portfolio is the target collection. So if you don't know what that is, you right click there, you set it as the target collection, it gets a little plus next to it, which means wherever in the program I am on any image, if the image is not in here and I hit B on the keyboard, it puts it in the collection. So I then go through my Borneo image, and I'm going to speed this up just for the process. So I'm going to go through these and think, okay, that's not bad. I'm like, ooh, okay, I quite like this froggy, all right? So B, put in the collection, keep going. And I don't care if it's another 20 or 100, knowing that after this, I'm going to go back to my best of collection and bring it back down to 12 again. So let's just go. So I'm thinking, okay, that's quite moody. I like that. This rhinoceros hornbill was pretty cool. What else? Gomatong Caves. I thought that was pretty cool, but it's not really portfolio. I'll just keep it as a collection in the destination. Keep going. I'm thinking, ooh, okay, this is quite unique. Let's see there. Okay, that's cool. Okay, let's go there. And so on and so forth. And you work through an entire collection of this. And let's, for example, think, okay, this guy deserves B. Okay, so now I've worked through the entire collection of this trip. Okay, but you have to be hard with yourself. You don't just end up with 170 in the Borneo collection and 150 of them go to your best of. Don't do that. Be more hard with yourself. So now I go and I check. My portfolio now consists of 17. The blue ones, just for the purposes of now, the blue ones that you've got here were your originals, and then there are the new 5. Okay, so now, because I'm in the collection currently, right, if I have an image selected and I hit B, it'll take it out of the collection. So B puts in and B takes away out of your collection if it's set as the target. So now I would kind of do this. And again, if you've been following my work, you'll know how I do this. I go full screen on this, and I just arrow through a couple of times. I just want to, just take me out of the way here. I just kind of want to just get a feel. And look, you'll know these well because it's your work. And I'll go through these and I think, okay, cool, that's nice, that's nice. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Okay, new ones. And I would literally scroll through the whole thing and just keep going a couple of times through, right? Then you have to decide for yourself, okay, cool, now what? What out of this is my worst image? Remembering all of these are already on your website or in your portfolios as a collection of the trip. Now if you come yourself, okay, cool, this, not too mad about it, considering all the new stuff, B, it's gone. I look at this and I think, okay, cool. This falls a little bit flat, so I'll get rid of that one. I'm thinking, okay, these two are very similar. I like the layers in this, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Where are we at? And that's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. No, 2 more. And I think, okay, cool. There's 2 bears, but they're cool. I like them. What else? This isn't really, I'm not really much into landscapes. Let me get rid of that one. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. This is a bit of a bland portrait done. Okay. And now I'm back to a working, evolving top 12 or a portfolio. So I'm a bit behind because of many reasons, discussed another time. I would do this after every single trip. So that at any point in time, you can turn your Lightroom on. You can go here, right? You can go here and there's my top 12. You can run a slideshow, you can upload to your website, whatever the case might be, right? But after every trip, one more time, let's just run another demo. So I'm going to go to Mala here. Okay, so I think, ooh, cool elephant, B. No, not that. I'm just making this up as I go. I quite like this liney silhouette. There's some shutter speed. So if you're into slow shutter speed, you guys probably know I am. I love this stuff. Then you could have a slow shutter speed one, a top 12, not a top 229, because that's a bit much. And you think, okay, cool. This one's always been kind of a favorite. I like, and I keep. So after the trip, I go through this and I think, okay, cool. And just do one more here of that guy. All right. Then you go back here, you look at all of them and you work in a deductive fashion and you delete from bad, to good. So now looking at this, okay, quick one. The elephant falls flat, B. Okay. I'm liking that. Not strong enough, B. That guy, B. Let's for argument's sake, Vic falls flat, B. Iceland's cool. Okay, I like the slow shutter, but let's keep him in. Okay, the rhinoceros hornbill's a bit bland compared. There we go. And there I'm back to 12. So just in 2 trips, I've already evolved. There are some of them that will always stay. This one, that one, that one. They stay until down the line, when you get some good new stuff, they might challenge for a spot and bump one of them off. But you know at any given point in time, this is your best of. And asks, when you decide on your top 12, do you also take into account diversity of portfolio? 100%. Again, I would reverse engineer your desire, because if you think of, for example, if you want to put yourself out there as a fine art wildlife photographer or someone who's going to sell prints, you need to kind of lean towards that side. But if you are going to, for example, end with a top 12 that has 10 elephants, a lion, and a frog, it's like, okay, I get your best of, but why so many? Where's the rest of it? So either all or nothing. You could also have 12 elephants, best of lions, best of leopards, best of fork-tailed drongos, or whatever the case might be. So diversity, yes. And when I send you this document, it's an interesting one because it's step by step kind of what to look for, things to look for. And diversity is important. It really, really is important. So Tour Guy's got a question. How do you feel about gory animal kills in a portfolio? Great question. So for me, I think if that's the way that you want to go, and if that's how you want to market / brand / pay attention to yourself, nothing wrong with it. I can tell you one thing though, if you want attention online, go that route. Either people come and give you shit because, oh, why don't you save the zebra? or it puts a little warning on it, which people love. So from an online point of view, it's got a lot of traction. If it's something that you have a lot of and you feel deep down, if you feel that deep down that kill shot belongs in here, absolutely. Nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I would maybe not, and I'm trying to think about this, seen this. I would maybe not go the route of, here's my top 12 gory kill images, even though, as I said, that it could actually work. So no, I would put anything in the portfolio if you like it, because that's what it is. You cannot say to me, hey, Gerry, please pick my top 12. And you look at this and think, yo, what's he been drinking? Tea, by the way. Yeah. So, and you think, wow. So you have to stay true to yourself and how you do this. So any questions on those? I'm going to quickly come back to you guys here. Q&A is to go here. Tracy says, would be interested in a Smug Mug webinar as I'm thinking of using them. Any chance? Yes, absolutely. So just Tracy, just to jump a little bit ahead, what I am looking at is in November, I want to run a 4-part almost course / advanced webinar. So it'll run 4 weeks back to back. You're going to get a manual for it, and then we're going to build up from basically in-camera details, how to shoot creatively, the processing, the sorting, the creative processing, and then final product. So that's coming up. So yes, we definitely will look at that. Hannah asks, what is your number 1 criteria to keep the pick in top 12? Is it the perfect shot, technically, or is it unique and special to you? That's a great question. We could run a whole webinar on that, Hannah. So again, what is your number 1 criteria to keep the pick in top 12? Is it the perfect shot technically, or is it unique or special to you? The answer is yes to all of them. So I think that, let me just take you back to my Lightroom for a second here. So if I go here, right? I mean, to me, that's one of my favorites. I tell you now, I will probably always have this in my portfolio because I think it's a very good image personally, but also it's special to me. Okay, so this one. So for example, if I had to look at another thing like this, I mean, it's nice, but so is a cup of tea. It's also nice. So it doesn't really jump out and scream, I'm a hero shot. But the one thing, thanks Turgo, that's awesome. But for me, what would be the thing to look for is okay, let me put it to you this way. There's a couple of things that makes an image great. Number 1, technicality. So technicality would be the perfect shutter speed. It is so sharp and it's got the depth of field in the right place and the background is blurred. There's no distracting elements in the frame. It could be technically amazing, but it could still be boring. Okay, so technicality is the one thing. The second part of it is the narrative thereof. So that would be you showing me an image and then, or showing the viewer an image, and then them asking and wanting to know more, right? Then there are those stupid images where, I don't know, it's a baby, a pangolin on its mother's back, climbing up a tree with the sunset in the background, whatever the case might be, right? Those things happen sometimes. So there's X factor, there's the sighting. It stands purely on sighting. And often those sighting shots, which is so unique, can get away with some lesser technical attributes. It doesn't have to be perfectly sharp. It could be slightly under or overexposed. There might be a distracting element, but the content is so shit hot that it demands attention. There's the technical side of it. So normally the technicality on a portrait up close, that's kind of important. But the further back you pull, the narrative becomes a lot more important. Is it your top 12 for yourself or top 12 selling you as a photographer to someone else? The answer again is yes to both. So what you would do is, in my mind, it should always be about you first. Hannah, if I come to your website and I see only slow shutter speed images everywhere, I'm going to define you in my mind like that. So if I'm talking at a dinner party to someone and I'm talking about this, Hannah has this amazing, but you might also have other stuff. So it's what you like most and what you would like to be known as. If you're going to sell your work, right? If you're going to sell your work, that's very different. I would still have a top 12, 24, right? Top 12. But then I would have, from a selling point of view, my favorite monochrome prints, portrait prints. And then you can diversify down as far as you can and want to go down. Linda asks, is the question you ask yourself, would you put that up on your wall? So from a portfolio point of view, not necessarily. From a print point of view, yes. Right? So portfolio for me is, it shows everything. I might not print it, it might sell, but that's me. This is my best work. If it's a gruesome kill with a zebra on its back with a broken leg and the lions on it and stuff, do you want to hang that up on your dinner, like next to your dinner table? No, probably not. So I wouldn't define it by just that. Do you want to print it? Now, if you're unsure and you want to find a balance between a portfolio that you choose and that you think other people will like, you could go this route. It also works pretty well for competitions, but we can talk about this some other time. Is out of your 12, you choose 6 for you. This is, I don't give a shit what you think. I like these 6. There it is. There's your 6. Then you could go and you can say the second 6, the evolving 6. So you've got almost like a micro portfolio. You've got 6 and 6. And you then go to someone who's not a photographer, who doesn't speak photography, who's not literate in the visual arts, right? And you show them 10 images and you say, look through these, please. And while they're looking through it, you show them how to use the arrow. And while they're doing that, you watch their face. Are they looking at your stuff and this is just nothing? Or are they looking at it and it's like, ooh, ah. If there's reaction, you know the image works on that level. So you could also split it up like that. Again, it comes down to your desired outcome. What do you want? Most of us, we just want to kind of, and it's nice when people like our work. It's nice. We should dig it. So maybe it's just that. But the nice thing for me is having that 12, tight 12. When you're in the field, I promise you this, you're going to shoot and you're going to do your thing and you're going to focus on the sighting and do the whole thing. But then at some stage, you're going to start thinking, ooh, could that be a portfolio shot? As you take it, it wakes you up creatively. And that's an amazing thing. It's a difficult thing, but it's quite amazing. Richard asks, if a photo is not technically perfect, but totally unique, would you make your top 12? Absolutely. 100%. If it's such a unique shot, I don't know if you guys can see over my shoulder there. This guy here, where is he? There. That's Muddy Lion, right? Stand by, let me show you. So this is an example, right? Black Muddy Lion. Now, that is, put it back, that is probably one of the least technically correct images I have ever taken, right? But that would be in my top 12 because it was so unique. It was unique in the way it made me feel. It was unique in the visual that it created. So yes, Richard, 100%. Technicality does not define photographic success. That's actually quite good. We should write that down. So there's so much more. We don't need sharper images. The world needs better images. So yes, doesn't revolve around technicality. Could be anything. Could really be anything. So I want to quickly share with you guys one more time this document that I'm going to be sending to you guys tomorrow if you do want it. Share there. Just pull the chat in here. So what this was is this was part of a workshop that I ran, and I've used it a couple of times. What is a portfolio? What is it for? Consider your audience. Choose a theme. Do you want to have a theme for your portfolio or not? Choosing images, how to do that, right? Presenting your portfolio, how to do it, content. An artistic statement outlining your concept or theme. If you want to write with it, a list of shots, titles, and descriptions. If you want to go really deep, and this is a great, great way for you to define it for yourself, is once you have your top 12, try and on your website or in a book or whatever, try and write 2 sentences about your portfolio. It'll make you think with a different part of your creative brain how to define it. It's a very, very cool thing. Then I've got some ideas here. Keep it short and sweet. Don't put it to popular vote unless that's your aim and you want to do that. Show quality, show a range of images. Start with a bang and then end with your best. So this also just breaks up a little bit more of how you could approach it. So if you guys do want, I can send that out for you tomorrow. Just for you to kind of scratch through. It might help from there. Right, guys, any questions from there on? Any questions other than that? So I would challenge you to put together a top 12. And now, how many people? So if you happen to watch this on YouTube after the live version of this, sorry, it doesn't count for you. For you guys that are live on this session right now with me, if you have a 12 or 24, no more, 12 or 24, or you put one together, send me the link. I would love to see it, and I can do like a quick crit for you and just kind of share ideas if you would like that. So for those of you live on the session with me, please don't email from YouTube a year from now. Not going to happen. Only for the live people, we can do something like that. All right. Guys, there we go. It's a nice way to think about your own photography. It's a nice way to target and to narrow it down more and to have something almost tangible and say, there it is. This is me. All right. So if you haven't yet, on the Wild Eye blog, I released a lot of new webinars today, all the way through end of November. They are not done and dusted. Like I said, I'm working on a 4-part premium, which we're going to go from cradle to grave, the entire thing. Week by week, there's homework. You're going to manual the whole thing. It's like a mini course as such. There's also some of the other ones which we've drafted. We're just waiting for some details. So check that blog again and again, right? Again and again. And I will update those and share them on Instagram and stuff as well. So guys, if you have any other questions, please drop me an email, gerry@wildout.co.za. I will email for all of you that was live on this tomorrow. I will email you that PDF document. And if you have a portfolio or such that you would like for me to go and check out and just add some comment on and stuff, I'd love to do that for you guys as well. And then who was asking? Tracy, yes, the Smug Mug thing is coming up, so keep an eye out for that. And there it is. Guys, thank you so much. What was that? Is your top 12? I'm just checking here quickly. Is your Perry? I'll be sharing that in due course about my top 12. Not there yet. Guys, as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. It's been amazing. Nice to see all the names. And I look forward to seeing your portfolios very, very soon. Guys, have a good evening. Wherever in the world you are, good morning, good evening, and good night. My name is Gerry. I'm from Wild Eye. See you next time. Bye-bye.